Loops are important topic in every programming language. Sometimes you want some piece of code to be executed more than once. In such cases, loops come handy. In dot programming language, we have for loop, for in loop, for each loop, while loop, and do while loop. Let us begin with for loop. I will start with main method, and inside it I will write for loop. For, and then I will declare integer here, integer I, and assign 0, condition, now inside here I will write print statement, print double quotes, and I will write string and then $I. Let's print it first, and then I will give you the understanding of flow of control. You can see it has printed 5 times this string and with I variable. So what happens is this I will be initialized, this will be executed only once, initialized with 0, I will be initialized with 0 at only once. After that this condition will be checked, is this true? If this is true, then inside this will be executed. So body of the for loop will be executed, whatever will be inside the curly braces will be executed, then this I will be incremented. After that again the test, this expression will be checked. If this will be true, then again the body of for loop will be executed. Let's say we have another print statement here, and inside this I will write simply I variable. So let's run it. You can see this has printed it 0 1 2 3 4 times, 5 times. Here the flow control flow goes as first time the I will be initialized. After that this condition I is less than 5, it will be checked, this will be executed. You can see condition is checked. After that the body of loop is executed. So at last this increment is post increment is performed. So this is the flow of control of this for loop. This initialization will be performed at only once, that is at the begin of this execution, and whenever loop enters inside it, inside the body of for loop, this is called a term is used, and that's called the iteration. So here you can see it as performed. Let us run it again. 5 times from 0 to 4, that is 5 times. So this is called iteration. This is also called iteration here, and this is called also iteration. So 5 iterations are performed in this particular for loop. For in loop. For in loop takes object or expression as an iterator. That means it will pick object and then it will take object as an iterator, and then it will pick every element one by one, and whatever the operation we want on the element we can perform. Let us begin with main method. After that I will use for. First of all, let us declare an object here, list. I will create a list here. List 1 is equal to, and inside it I will put integers. Let's say 1 no 4 3 4 1 6 2 and 7. Now using for in loop I can iterate to every element inside this list. For I will declare variable I where let's say x in list. After that I will print the x. You can see it will iterate through every element. You can see it has printed first time 3, 4, 1, 6, 2 and 7. So this for in loop iterates through an object or an expression. Here I have created a list, and inside this list I have used for in loop to print every element inside it. This list is of integers, so I can also use int here instead of var. But if I remove integers from the list and I will write some, let's say s string, in such case it will give error because this list contains characters. You can see this is error, and in such case we have to use string data type, or we can use var keyword to declare a variable. This will work perfectly. So always use var when you don't know what is the list containing, whether it's integers, string or anything else. Each loop. The for each loop is used to make function calls for each element in the collection. Void main, let's start it, and inside it I will declare list. Let's say my list, and I will put integers inside it, 3, 6, 8, 9, 0, 1, 4, and using for each loop I will call the function for each element, and for that I will use my list dot for each. You can see here for each, and for that I have to declare a variable here var q, and inside this curly brace I will perform any operation on this q variable. Let's say print q, terminator here, another terminator at last. So this is how we use for each loop. You can see this as print every element in the collection in this list. The another syntax to print these elements is, let's remove this curly braces also here, and then after the variable declaration here I will use this sign equal to and greater than, and then remove this one. So this is another syntax for each loop. You can perform many other operations on inside this curly braces. Let me try to here. I want to multiply this q variable and multiply with 2 and check the result. I got a result here. You can perform any operation on this variable q, whatever is inside the my list. You can perform any operation, many operations on these elements. Let's say I want pre increment. For that I will use q variable and let us check. This is a pre-decrement, so I got the result here, that is 2 5 7 3 6 8. So 1 is decremented. For each loop is very handy and very useful. A while loop. The body of while loop will run until and unless the condition is true. Void main, inside it I will use while. This after this we have to use condition here, and this condition must be true, then the body of while loop will be executed. Here I will use while I is less than 5. That means if I is less than 5, then why this body of while loop will be executed. Here I am printing a variable. Let's say I want to print so first of all we have to declare I int I and initialize it with 5. You can see I have initialized I with 5, and here the condition is checking while I is less than 5. Here you need to take careful that when you run this will execute infinite, that is it will be executed every time, because the condition will become always true and always this loop will be printed. This will not get exited. So always make sure that after performing while loop, make sure this loop exits, and for that, and here I will I plus plus increment this. First time the I is 0 and condition is true, because I is 0 and that is less than 5. This will be printed. After printing this my online support, I will be incremented and this will become 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then 5. This will exit. You can see that's printed 1 2 3 4 5. The very important thing I want to tell you is that this loop is exiting after I becomes greater than 5. Let's say if I decrement this, now what will happen? This loop will keep running because it has no exit condition. If I run it, let's see, you can see this is printing, so this will not exit. I have to exit it here because the condition was always becoming true. There was no false situation in this case. You can see here how many times it has printed my online support. Do while loop. The body of do while loop is placed first, and at last the condition is checked. So it means that whether the condition is true or false, at least the body of while loop will be executed at once if whether the condition is false. So the syntax for do while loop is, first we write do and then body of the do while, and after it we write while, so the condition is at last. After that, terminator. So this is the body of do while loop. In do while loop we can write condition here. Let's say I want to print a, but before that I will declare integer limit and set it to 5, integer I and set it to 1. After that I will write condition here. So false condition. So when it becomes the false, I will write while is I is less than limit terminator and I plus plus. Let's run it first. So I got the a 4 times. First time the I will be printed and condition will be checked. I will be incremented and condition will be checked. That means if condition is already false, then still I will be printed at one time. This will print it 4 times. And if I set condition false here and I will set limit 1, this means the condition is false at begin. So still I got the A, because it does not check condition at first, it check condition at last.